e-learning players? It's time to get going and be updated with the new trends in English 8 topics. Once again, these are the visual trends. In this level, you have to be more attentive, for we will be discussing to you the important things that you will be needing in order for you to survive these e-learning games. Come on, let's explore further and equip ourselves with the essential content topics of visual-verbal relationships. Let's start by differentiating linear text from non-linear text.
Linear text. It is the most common type of text that is needed to be read from beginning to end. It also focuses on the arrangement of the words, both grammatically and stylistically. Generally, texts printed on paper are considered as linear texts. And here are the examples of linear text. First, we have novels. Next, we also have poems, followed by short stories. We also have letters. And last but not the least, we have educational text. On the other hand, nonlinear text is the opposite of linear text. As its name suggests, it is nonlinear or non-sequential. Here, the readers do not read the words from beginning to end. In addition, the information presented here is accompanied by tables, graphs, maps, diagrams, or flowcharts. It is also called visual elements, infographics, and textual aids. And here are the examples of non-linear text. First on the list, we have graphs. Next, we have tables, followed by maps, caption graphics, and flowcharts. Now, for our second episode, to discuss the types of visual elements, let me call in our next VIT, Mrs. Serena B. Campbell.
The bits of information presented in nonlinear text or textual aids are derived from the linear text. Do you still remember your classmate reporting an assigned topic to the class with a word visual aid written in a manila paper? What was your reaction when you attempted to read the report? Perhaps you would consider it uninteresting or maybe too tiresome to read because it is too wordy. Remember, we must learn how to present information effectively using textual aids. If we extract a piece of information from expository texts like news articles, textbooks, instruction manuals, recipes, and etc.
We will also learn how to interpret data presented in textual aids. Although we have a lot of textual aids or nonlinear texts, we will focus on 5 visual elements such as graphs, tables, maps, caption graphics, and flowcharts. First, we have here the graphs. These are diagrams showing the relation between variable quantities, typically of 2 variables, each measured along a pair of axes at right angles. And here are the 4 examples of graphs. We have here first the bar graph. It shows numbers that are independent of each other. Next, we have the line graph. It shows how numbers have changed over time. It usually has continuous data along vertical or the y-axis and horizontal or the x-axis dimensions. Third one, we have a pictograph or pictogram. It is a special type of bar graph. Instead of using an axis with numbers, it uses pictures to represent a particular number of items. And the last one is the paragraph. It shows you how a whole is divided into different parts. The second visual element is the tables. These are also known as matrix, referring to an orderly arranged quantitative data in columns and rows. This is an example of table. The third one is the maps. These refer to collection of data showing the spatial arrangement of distribution of something over an area. And this is the example of a map. The fourth one is the caption graphic. It provides a title, short explanation, or description accompanying an illustration or a photograph. And this is an example of it. Lastly, we have the flowchart. It shows the sequence of movements or actions of people or things involved in a complex system or activity. And this is the example of a flowchart. Did you get it right? Very good! At this juncture, to give us additional information about our topic focusing on the steps in interpreting infographics, let us have our next VAT, Ma'am Lorna T. Ortiz.
Now that you have reached this level, I bet that you have learned the differences between linear and nonlinear text as well as the types of visual elements. This time, let me help you understand the several ways of transforming or interpreting linear text into nonlinear text, or what we call the visual element. And in mastering this competency, let us always bear in our mind that it is really important to know these steps to provide a clear and specific infographics. Are you ready? Let's begin. These are the steps in interpreting or transforming the linear text to nonlinear text. First, read and analyze the text and get the main idea. We all know that finding the main idea is the key to understanding what you have read. Next, extract the essential details for the visual representation. Remember to include the important bits of information in your visual element. Then, remember also to use keywords or phrases only. It is important to include the most relevant keywords to help your readers find references or additional information. After that, classify information gathered from the linear text. That way, it will allow your readers to get insights from your presented textual aids quickly. And finally, use the appropriate textual aid or visual element to present information. We all know that using textual aids or visual elements is dissecting complex information and helping cover heavy topics enjoyably, and sustaining readers' attention while doing so. Keeping these steps in your mind, I positively believe that you can quickly transform or interpret an expository text into a compelling infographic, which will be a surefire way to carve your story into the reader's memory. And to wrap it up, I believe that we have given you enough information about our topic for this e-learning session, which is entitled Visual Verbal Relationships. That, of course, will be needed for you to pass the next level of challenges.